Hi, I'm Tara. This is my first video and it's going to be on how to make your own kombucha at home. So I'm just going to go over a couple things. So all I did was purchase some scobies, which are cultures of bacteria and yeast, but they're good for your body, probiotics. So I just purchased this on Amazon. It's organic by fermentaholics.com, but you can find it on Amazon. Anyway, so you're going to need some scobies. You're going to need a coffee. You can use a tea maker, but I just use just 1 pot of coffee. Today is Saturday, so I can do it every Saturday because it takes about 7 days for your kombucha to ferment. So I'm just going to do it right now and show you the whole process. So I have about 6 tea bags of black tea. You can use green tea or black tea. You don't want to have any flavored teas, just plain black or plain green. You can use organic. So you're going to need that and your SCOBY. You also need some distilled water or any kind of water that you want for the end. You're going to need cane sugar. I just got this at Aldi's, or you can get it at Walmart or wherever. FYI, no sugar in the raw. It's going to make it taste really bad. So I just have the regular pure cane sugar, but not the sugar in the raw, because that causes a really bad taste for your kombucha. And then I have a measuring cup. You're going to need a ½ cup of sugar. And then I have these mason jars. I have 2 right now, but I recommend getting 5. 2 for your kombucha you're going to ferment. 2 whenever you're ready to transfer them, so you can wash 2 and use 2. And then 1 extra 5th one so that you can create a SCOBY motel. So what happens is your SCOBY is going to make a new SCOBY. So every week you're going to have 2. So you can share with a friend, or you can create a SCOBY motel. So I just actually put 1 in, and you're going to want to cover it, and you can store it in a dark place, room temperature, or you can put it in the refrigerator. But when you ferment your kombucha, you're going to have it in room temperature, no light around it. Also, you can use tongs that are plastic. No, you don't want any metal to touch this. So I just have some wooden spoons for stirring, and if your scobies are very slippery, so you're going to want to make sure you hold on to them. And then I use a funnel to put my sugar in. You just need a ½ cup whenever we put our tea in there. And then I have a strainer for at the very end, after your 7 days, when you're putting your kombucha in your jars to put in the refrigerator, or you can flavor them an extra day. I use a strainer because sometimes the SCOBY will make little strands of other SCOBY. And then last thing, I found these jars at like Marshall's or TJ Maxx, just for like $2. These are nice for whenever we do the second fermentation process, where if you want to put like elderberry or ginger, dried ginger at the bottom, put some kombucha in here after it's done, and then ferment it for 1 more day, and that'll flavor it. You can do that. And then what I like to do is I have a tea maker here where I just can put the fruit in on top here, and I just get organic strawberries or blueberries, and I put them in here, put it in there for a day. Then I can make strawberry kombucha, and then I take it out. It's very easy to just throw it away. So those are the things that you're going to need. And now I'm just going to pour it in a coffee maker. Get this going here. Go ahead and put, I have about 6 tea bags. You can put up to 8 if you want stronger tea, or like maybe 4 or 5 if you don't want it as strong. I like the black tea. Green tea is good too. I'm just going to start it. What happens during the fermentation process is it carbonates itself, and it'll stay carbonated the whole time while it won't go flat while it's in the refrigerator. You want to drink it within about 4 or 5 days. If you're new to kombucha, you just want to start out with maybe 4 ounces to see how your body does, because it is putting a good probiotic in your body. and then up it up to like 8 ounces, but you don't want to go over 16 ounces of kombucha a day. If you don't flavor it, it's going to taste like a carbonated apple juice, very nice. If you do flavor it, pomegranate seeds are nice, the strawberries, berries. The ginger will make it very fizzy, so if you do use like a jar like this that has a top, and you close it, I would recommend just kind of keeping it a little open, otherwise you're going to have a lot of fizz in there and it could pop up, so you want to just watch those kind of tops. But anyway, so I'll just break here and make the tea, and then we'll go over the second half of the video. Okay, so now my tea is ready. I just put it through a cycle, like a coffee cycle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it half and half in my jars. Just want to make sure it's even. So it's about 4 cups each. And there's lines on your mason jar that tell you that too. So once I have that half, I just want to talk about the temperature. So this is going to be a little bit too warm for your SCOBY to go in. It'll kill the yeast if you have it too hot. So I just let it sit for a little bit. This whole process actually takes about 10 minutes or less altogether once you get the hang of it every week. So it's not really a big deal, and you can just start a pot of tea while you're cooking dinner or something, or while you're meal prepping. So I actually have a temperature sticker here that tells me what temperature it is. You don't want to put your SCOBY in if it's more than like 78 degrees. So around 75, you can put your 75 to 80. You can put your SCOBY in without it getting hurt, because it's very sensitive to that heat. So once I have my tea split here, I like to put a funnel so I don't get sugar everywhere. You just want to put a half a cup of your cane sugar. And what this does is the SCOBY is going to eat this. So it actually kind of eats the caffeine and it eats the sugar. That's how it grows. Another one. So it just needs a little bit. So your kombucha will be not too sweet, but it'll have a little bit of a nice flavor. So once I get that sugar in, I just stir it while it's hot before I add the second part, which is just your distilled water. So that's pretty good there. And I want to use a wooden spoon or plastic to make sure I'm not using metal in here. Okay, so once that is done, when I add the water, I'm actually not going to fill all of these to the top because I need to add room for a starter fluid, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So I'm just going to go to like the 1500 mark. It'll say 1500 or looks like 6 cups. That'll help cool it a little bit. You can put it in the refrigerator for a little bit if you're kind of running in a hurry or you need to go somewhere. We're actually going to go run a couple errands right now while these are cooling off, and they should be the perfect temperature when we get done. So we just have to get some gas and get a couple things. But so there is our tea, and let me just talk about the starter fluid really quick. So when you get your first SCOBY, it's going to come in some fluid, and this is actually like a kombucha that's been fermented, so it will be your starter fluid. So I can pour this in each one. If you're wanting to start out with 2, you're going to need to order 2 SCOBYs, or you can just start out with 1, and then you'll have the 2 that you need the next time when this one grows another SCOBY in your 7 days. So because of this starter fluid, I just want to talk about it for a minute. You're going to need it. So the reason I said to have at least 4 mason jars, if not 5, if you're going to save your SCOBY, have 5. For the other 2, I have my 2 that I'm going to make my new tea next week, and then these are going to be full of the fermented tea. When I remove the scobies out of my tea that's already done, I want to make sure that I add some starter from my fermented tea. So this is actually going to be a starter fluid for my next week's tea. So I'll be able to, and you want to add about a cup, half a cup to a cup. Just even half a cup will make sure it starts the fermentation process, but you want to have starter fluid. So that's why you need kind of if you have never done this, try it. And then once you get the hang of it, you'll always have starter fluid. And when you have your SCOBY motel, where you're just saving those scobies, you want to make sure you add a little bit of fluid each time so that it has some fluid to sit in, and it can sit in there for weeks. It's a safe process. The scobies don't really grow anything other than good bacteria. If it's like black spots, which I've never seen, and I've been doing this for years, if there's like black spots on it, throw it away and try a new one. With the black tea, it is going to make like dark strands, which are going to be like dark brown. And depending on what kind of sugar you're using, it can make it look darker. So this SCOBY here is it's new, so it's kind of clear. Once it's been sitting in this black tea, it is going to stain it. So it is going to turn dark. That doesn't mean that it's rotten or anything like that. It would look absolutely scary and you would know if something was wrong. But no need to worry. I think there's only been, like, it's a small chance of somebody really messing it up. So it's a very forgiving process of fermentation. So we're gonna break here. We're gonna go on our errands. We'll come back and then I'll put the SCOBY in and finish it up. So. All right, we are back from our errands, and this is just very slightly warm, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my SCOBY in. This is the last part that you'll do. And I will attach some instructions on a PDF, just in case you're like, this is too long of a video. So I'm just gonna open up my starter. I'm gonna go ahead and pour it in one. So whenever you finish your, there's a little, there we are. It just slides right in. It's really, really slippery. So what it's gonna do is it might go all the way down to the bottom sometimes. You don't have to worry about that. It'll stay on top. It's going to form another one on top, another circle disc. So you'll have 2 in 7 days. Whenever, you always wanna have this, maybe just the 1500 lines so that you have enough to put that starter fluid in. So after the 7 days, this is gonna look just like this. Just have 1 extra SCOBY on top. I'm going to take them out, put them in a jar, put a little starter, take this, the remaining fluid, put a little bit in there. You don't want the SCOBY to dry out. And then whenever I make my new jars, I'm gonna add my SCOBY. I'll have 2 next week, so I can have 2 jars. And then I'm gonna add the already fermented tea to those next 2. When I'm done and I take the SCOBY out, I actually just take my tea here and my strainer. I would suggest getting a smaller one. This one gets a little bit messy, but all I do is I put it in the sink. I take my jar after I take my SCOBY out. I pour the whole thing in. And then I usually only have a couple strands in here, but I just like to do that. And then this is easy. I just have like some organic strawberries and blueberries. You can do like a berry flavor if you want, or you can just have plain. So I'll just pour some in there, put it in overnight. Mango is really good too. Take it out, throw those out, or you can save them, whatever you want to do. Make like a parfait out of them or something. But that is how you make kombucha. I will attach a PDF so that you can just find the instructions and print them out if you kind of forget. But just remember, half a cup of sugar, make your tea, pour in equal amounts, add some water, let it cool a little bit, add your SCOBY. You can cover it with a kind of like an organic coffee filter and then put a rubber band over it. you just want to kind of air out, or you can take like an old t-shirt if you like to cut sleeves off or something, put that t-shirt on top here, a clean one, put it on top there with rubber bands, and then just store it in a cupboard somewhere. Remember, put a reminder on your phone, something like that, and go ahead and just do it the same time every day. Some people like to do it on Sundays or Saturdays, sometime where you're doing your meal prepping or something, so you can do that. But that's how you make homemade kombucha. I hope you enjoy it.